Previously on Northwind Aerial.
Have you ever seen a man descend into madness before your very eyes? Would you like to? Set to record in slow motion at 240 frames per second with no audio recording. This project was scuffed from the start. Yeah, look, cool, it's a drone. Don't we all like drones? Isn't that why we're here? Aren't we all here to enjoy drones and, trying to do this stupid green screen. I told you this video is cursed. You think I was joking. No, everything is going wrong in this video. Anyways, off we go. The hell's going on with the lighting? Oh, that's a lot better. So, over time, DJI will release various types of firmware updates that make your drone run better, run faster, add features and everything. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you get your drone out is hook it up to the internet, starting with the controller, and I don't know why it's doing this. Alright, well, I can't get it to screen record, so you're gonna have to suffer with me as we walk through this.
Select your language, pick your Wi-Fi, set your time zone, log in, and then accept the terms and use agreements.
It's that easy.
Alright, we're gonna turn that off for a second because I'm going to get very crazy if I have to deal with that. So now we're gonna start with the drone. So, your M30T, right out of the box. Gonna want to extend it. Extend all of the aircraft wings. Extend all the aircraft wings. Check the propellers for any damage. Take off the sheaths. And then this foam block right here, you're gonna wanna take that off. And your gimbal. This is how you lock the gimbal. Most DJI drones have gimbal covers. The M30 does not. It just has a way to lock it for storage. So to lock or unlock it, you simply carefully rotate it up until it locks into place. And that's good for when you're ready to travel. And then when you're ready to deploy the drone, all you do is just carefully rotate it down. The laser rangefinder has a sticker on it, so we're going to remove that carefully. All right, now we're ready to turn the drone on to start the pairing process. So we take our two batteries, which slide in right back here, orange to orange. And you make sure these clips, these two orange clips right here, you wanna make sure they are closed together like that. That's what's gonna keep the batteries in and help them pry them out. And now, like every other DJI drone, you're gonna tap once and hold down, which is going to power it on. There we go. Now the drone is powered on. We're gonna link it to the controller, so get ready for the infernal beeping again.
Once you've got everything turned on, you're going to need to activate the aircraft, which will be a prompt on screen. Once you've activated it all, it'll give you a couple questions to find out what sort of industry you're in, to better share information with DJI, to really hone in on what you're using the drone for and how to improve their services. Once you've finished activating everything, you'll need to restart the aircraft, which will be a prompt that pops up.
If you purchased a DJI okay, I've got to make this stop. There, I've been able to mute it finally. So now, if you've purchased the DJI Care, which is essentially their insurance, you're gonna want to bind that right here. For us, we're gonna be putting in the activation code we were sent when we purchased this. Alright, so now we are going to update all the modules on the aircraft, because pretty much, since it's brand new, everything's gonna need to be updated. The controller, the drone, the batteries, literally everything. So you'll see right here where it says all modules need to be updated. Simply tap that. You can check up on everything, update all, firmware versions of some aircraft modules, blah, 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 update all. And now that's going to sit there and update the firmware, and that's probably going to take a while because it's got, however long this aircraft has been in service, it's got a long time a lot of firmware updates have come out. So we're gonna sit here and let this update, and I'm gonna go back to work. All right, once your firmware is finished updating, you're gonna wanna go ahead and swap out the batteries. So that way you can update the firmware on the batteries themselves. These are smart batteries, meaning they have little computers in them to regulate when they deplete their charge. So each one of them is its own little computer that has its own firmware that will need to be updated. One other thing you'll need to do is ensure that you bind the controller to the aircraft. That's why it won't stop beeping. I just figured that out because I have to figure out how to get this beeping to stop or I'm
Going to lose my mind.
So it is binding right now. All right, so really quickly, I found out how to finally get it to stop beeping. I had to calibrate the remote control sticks, which is just, I'd never had to do that before, but that's what worked. So if your controller won't stop beeping and flashing blue, power off your aircraft and calibrate the control sticks. Time to keep updating the firmware. All right, all of the firmware modules have been updated for the drone. Now we're gonna double check the firmware updates for the battery charging station. All right, in order to update the firmware for your battery charging station, you're gonna go to this little port right here that has the wrench on it, open it up to a simple USB-C port, and you're gonna plug your controller into that. In order to update the firmware for your battery charger, you're gonna wanna plug in a cord to your USB-C port in your controller, and plug it into the USB-C maintenance port over here. Connected to battery station, and you can see that it is checking firmware version. Battery case firmware update needed. Update available, update all, and here we go. And you can see it's charging all of those batteries in there right now, and it's going to update the firmware for the entire station. All right, now everything is up to date. We can go ahead and remove everything, and we're gonna sit here, cover that back up, and we're going to let it charge the batteries. All right, so one of the last things we need to do before we can fly the drone legally, and especially since this is going to be used for a professional search and rescue organization, we want to make sure we follow everything to the letter. We need to register the drone because it is above 0.55 pounds. So I have to walk around my entire house to get upstairs to my office because, again, renovations. And so we're going to go upstairs. I've already got the serial number written down on my phone, and we're going to get this registered with the FAA.
To register your drones, you're going to want to go to the FAA Drone Zone. This website is an important hub for everything drone related as long as you're in the United States, and it's where you'll go to both register your drones and apply for waivers. If you don't already have an account, go ahead and create one. We will be clicking on the drone owners and pilots since we'll be registering this drone underneath the Part 107 statutes for use as a government-based organization. So then once we've gone...
Shut up, OneDrive. No one likes you.
Select Part 107 and then fill out the profile. Congratulations, you are now registered with the FAA. Your drone, however, is still not registered, so you need to click on Manage Device Inventory. Simply click Add Device, which will bring up a window where you can add in the type of drone that it is, your manufacturer, the model, and most importantly, the serial number. Once you've filled out all the information, congratulations, you've kind of registered your drone. Now you just got to pay for the privilege of doing so, which will be $5.
Taxes!
Once you've forked over tomorrow's coffee money, you should receive an email that will have your drone registration number on it. Once you've received that registration number, you need to have it affixed somewhere to the drone before it is legally able to fly.
All right, so I'm going to... It wouldn't be a Northwind aerial video if I didn't have my pager go off once, would it? All right, so we've registered the drone, we've printed off our registration paperwork. Now we need to keep it with us pretty much at all times. So I'm gonna laminate this and put it in the case at some point, but for now, I'm just going to use one of these little spots where I know no one will be opening it. And we're gonna put it in there. And that's going to keep it safe, and we'll always have our registration paperwork on us. But we still have to mark the registration number on the drone itself. So let's do that before we fly. So I'm going to order some really high quality stickers to display the registration tags on this drone later. But for now, since those are going to take a while to get here, and I really want to get the first flight out of the way, we're going to just use a standard label maker because I don't want to write on the drone. It looks a little unprofessional, and I really want it to be completely legal to fly. So just your standard label maker will make do for now. All right, we've printed off our registration number. Now we're just going to apply this somewhere on the airframe of the drone. I think I'm going to put it right on top. There we go. Now, with our registration tag on the drone, this thing is completely legal to fly. It is registered, it has registration number on it, everything is all set up on it. I activated the carrier refresh. I think it's time to get it in the air. Give this new aircraft, which is hopefully going to be saving lives and property, it's made in flight. Alright, it is day 3 of me working on this project when I'm not running back and forth picking up ammons. Life is a blur right now. Anyways, we have updated all of the firmware, we have registered the drone, we've attached the registration tag to the drone. We're pretty much ready for our first flight. But before we do that, I wanted to go over mounting the attachments or so. So I already have the attachments on. And any sort of attachment you're going to use for the M30 is probably going to come with this quick release bracket, which will mount on right on top of the drone, covering up the registration tag. It'll mount on right on top of the drone using these 4 screws. It'll basically mount right on top of there, and then it's going to have a way to slide in and out any sort of a quick attachment. So for instance, as you can see, here's the bracket. And this just slides on like so. Make sure it's on there nice and snug. And then you're going to take your PSDK cable and attach it to your PSDK port. Like that. Now you're just going to fire up your drone. And whatever you have mounted on top of this, using the PSDK port, should load right up on your controller. And so you'll see...
Telephone start. Version 0.20.
So you can see the microphone when it turns on, it's good to go. And you can see on the controller screen right here, it's checking firmware up to date. Enter camera view, and we should be able to see, yep, right down here.
PSDK connected. OK.
PSDK connected. So you'll see right here on the screen, you've got everything to work with it right here, and that's where you're going to basically control everything is through that PSDK port. So let's play around with this really quick. Your text-to-speech tone, let's change that to USA English. Now let's see how bright.
Throwing flashbang.
Oh God. All right. That is putting off. That is putting off some heat. Text-to-speech. Let's go ahead and hit that right here. What should we say? Let's put subscribe to North Wind Aerial. Let's see how it sounds. Generally, the text-to-speech sounds awful.
Subscribe to North Wind Aerial.
That's not too bad. Let's crank the volume to 100. And let's point the drone at you so you can hear it in all of its glory. Here we go.
Subscribe to North Wind Aerial.
Holy crap. All right, that's loud. That's really loud. All right, so looks like the LP12 is working perfect. I've got to go back out to Shake Nuts now because we just finished picking up. So I've got to go run Shaker now. Let's hope I actually get to put this thing in the air while I'm wearing the same shirt. We'll see. The way things are going this year, probably not, but we'll see. We'll see where the continuity of this video picks up next. Who knows? My mind and life is an enigma right now. I like how this video started off as an unboxing and now it's just watching my descent into madness. Guys, you're not gonna believe this. I actually got enough time off from the end of a work day that we can do it. We can take her out and fly her for the first time. We can escape this house that has not been cleaned a single bit since I started filming this video 3 days ago. And let's go. Let's go take her on her inaugural flight. In order to get the drone ready for transport, fold in all of the propellers. See my smiling face. Fold in all the propellers. You have these tabs right here on top. You press them down. You have these tabs right here on top. You press them down. Fold these forward. And then you have the same sort of tabs right here where you fold these back. Like so. There you go. And then the last thing in order to get this drone ready for transport is to lock the gimbal. So you got your gimbal right here. You got a fingerprint smudge on the laser already, par for the course. And you just carefully rotate up and she's ready for transport. And you can see here in the case, right where she goes, that foam block right there is where the gimbal is going to rest. All right, now after 3 days of me trying to get to this point, I think it's time to take her on her inaugural flight. And since she's gonna be a Glenn County Search and Rescue drone, I feel like it's only fitting to have her first flight be over some rice fields. So, and here we are, out in the rice fields. Let's get her up in the air. So when you're starting your drone up, you don't have to fold out the propellers. When you fire it up to lift off, the centrifugal force will deploy to the blades, but it does shake the drone a fair amount, so it's always a good idea to actually spread out the propeller blades. So we got our...
Point updated. Check map to confirm.
All right, so the home point's been updated, which means it's connected with the GPS system. Global Positioning System. Good words, Tim. It's connected so it knows exactly where it's taking off and it has its whole geolocation and everything. So that's good to know. We don't have it set up for RTK yet, which is fine. These are basically just a pre-flight check to make sure everything is good to go. We'll run through all of our cameras. First off, you'll see down here on the bottom left, we've got the little light symbol. You press that. That is going to be your nighttime beacons to make sure that you can fly legally at night. You can see them flashing on top and bottom right there. We'll turn those off. Here's our FPV camera, which is basically just used for traveling. We'll check our gimbals. Rotate all the way down. Rotate all the way up. You have these two bottom buttons right here. These will recenter your gimbal.
Recenter.
Is here
Recenter gimbal pan.
right there. So that'll reset it. Move from side to side.
Recenter gimbal pan.
Cool. Infrared camera works. Run through all of our different settings. Let's check our mode. Head to the wideband. We are good to go. Head back to our wide view. Let's check out our zoom. So you can zoom in either using the bottom wheel, or you can click your custom 3 button and hold down all the way into 200 times, although there's really nothing to see. And we'll switch over to video mode, which makes it so the full video is widescreen. But with that, I do believe we are ready to go. So like any other DJI drone, you're going to start it by taking your thumbsticks and pulling them in and towards you in a diagonal mode. That is how you start every single DJI drone.
Taking off.
So we are in a kind of active airport. It's uncontrolled airspace, but that basically means that you still have to be careful. Acknowledge that you assume full responsibility for flying this area. Hit OK, and off we go. It's She's doing good to me.
Flying the M30T over the rice fields for the first time actually got me kind of emotional. I've flown this drone a lot, or my own personal M30T a lot, so it's not like it was a new experience to me, but this was this culmination of a year and a half worth of work, of fundraising, of going back and forth over quotes, of debating which drone we wanted to go for our search and rescue organization. And to see it all come to fruition as a project I spearheaded really meant a lot to me. Up until now, if we've ever had a search and rescue mission, it was completely reliant on me and my own personal drones to respond, which I'm totally okay with, but now with the acquisition of this drone, it meant that I could start training up some of my fellow pilots in order to come and pick up this fantastic piece of technology and take it out without me personally having to be there at a moment's notice to actually help save lives. Whenever I took vacation, I would always feel terrible, like I was abandoning my county by not being around to respond. So with the acquisition of this drone, this meant that I knew the county would be in good hands with the best piece of equipment available in order to respond at a moment's notice to any sort of emergency, and they wouldn't be completely reliant on me. While flying around up in the air, I decided to just do another once-over of all the various features of this drone, testing out the infrared, testing out the zoom, and of course testing out the laser rangefinder. I had no doubts that this drone came out of the box working perfectly, but I wanted to take full responsibility for this machine to make sure when I did hand it over to my fellow pilots, everything was in working order, checked out by myself. It's hard to believe that just a little over 2 years ago, I knew nothing about drones, and now I know enough to find the best kit, find the best equipment, and train my people up on how it all works, all for the service of helping out others. We're a small county with a relatively small search and rescue team, so making sure we have the best technology that is in working order is paramount. In just the last couple of years, we've dealt with huge floods that have broken a levee, massive fires, and people lost in very dense terrain. Having this piece of technology means the world to us. So I personally, in this video, wanted to thank everyone who supported me in getting this project off the ground, who donated, who helped fundraise for it. I could not have pulled this off. We could not have pulled this off without your guys' help. So, thank you.
All right, flew around, checked her all out. I think she's ready to enter into service.
Gimbal recenter. Recenter gimbal pan.
I love it. So yeah, this was a project a year and a half in the making from when I first started really making videos and working towards mostly doing this for free and donations in order to get one of these purchased for my organization, the organization I'm a part of, rather. Makes me really happy that we accomplished this and got this all put together. So thank you all for your support and helping get this project done. Looking forward to making a couple more videos on this, but for now, that was an unboxing and setup of the DJI M30T. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, consider subscribing, leave a comment, tell me your thoughts. What's your favorite peanut butter cookie recipe? Tell me about that. I could really go for some peanut butter cookies. I mean, my taste buds could, my body couldn't, but anyways, thank you so much for watching this descent into madness, and I'll see you next time.